Alright guys, so here's my super quick review of the Opinel number 8. Really Opinel in general. As you can see, I put a nice little patina on the blade. Now, this is going to be short and sweet. I hate it. The role that this knife is going to have for me going forward is I'm going to put a little hole in the back here, drill into it, put it on a string, put it next to my trash can, because the blade geometry. It's so incredibly thin. It's great at cutting cardboard. Phenomenal at cutting cardboard. That being said, that's about where its utility for me ends, which is what I'm all about, is utility in knives. There are some that are fun. Like, why do I like carrying a slip joint more than, my OTFs sometimes? Just because it makes me happy inside, which I really expected this knife to make me happy inside. But here's the thing, I kept trying to make it work and it just would not work. So first off, it gave me a tiny little thing to grab onto the blade with, which would be fine if the blade was always easy to pull out, but it's not. So I had to break out a file and make that a little bigger so I could actually pinch my fingers in here and get it open. Now, that being said, it's always going to be a two-hand opener. It's just a fact, which is okay. Now the lock is also a two-hand operation, which is slightly annoying because it's like, 1, 2, and then now you can use it. After pulling it out of the pocket, it's just slightly annoying. But the lock is strong, right? So I can't fault it there. And it did create a nice little groove for my finger to go into. So I thought, cool, we'll rock and roll with this, see how long I can use it. Now the problem is, in the use of it, is the wood handles. They flex in size, just like your door does during winter and summer months, if you are lucky enough to live somewhere with seasons. Every time this got wet, like the patina actually started naturally from eating a steak, and just from rinsing it off, which I held it this way and rinsed it off, and then, just a little water may get in there, it swelled so much that not only was the blade notably harder to get in and out after that, the lock was notably harder to, to lock and unlock after that. And then eventually it'll dry out and be slightly easier again. And then the next time I use it for anything that's not just like cutting a piece of cardboard or a piece of tape, it flexes again and becomes a giant pain in the ass to pull out and to pull in. It even got so swollen one time without the lock on it, I was able to push with my thumb on the back of here and it wasn't folding. I had to use my other hands to then fold it in. So that's the short and sweet of it, guys. I get my knives to use them. Do I like when they're cool designs or when they're kind of like, a little out of the ordinary? Definitely. I'm not the guy who's going to buy one Spyderco, pair of 3 and just use that infinitely because it's the ultimate form of a tool. No, I like fun things, like my watch. I could just wear a G-Shock all the time, but I buy other watches because I enjoy them. That being said, this one has so much character and so much like aura around it. I was really excited for it, really trying to make it work, but at the end of the day, it is dog water. It is completely unusable just because I use my things. I do not baby my things, and if this hits any bit of moisture, it expands and makes the knife a pain in the ass to use, and because of that reason, I do not see myself ever carrying it again, but it's okay. I spent like $15 to try the legendary Opinel. Now I know for a fact for myself, I don't like it. It's just not my thing. So that is a super quick in and out review of the Opinel carbon blade. That will now become the Opinel that sits outside, perpetually hanging like this from the outside of my fence to cut my cardboard.